He walked into the company gate carrying a mattress on his head. Everyone stopped. The security guard's mouth hung open. His pen froze in midair. Even the pigeons on the electric wire turned their heads, as if the whole world had paused to ask, "Is this man mad?" But to Mumo, it was not madness. It was strategy. Mumo had not slept for 3 nights. The interview at Kifaru Holdings, one of the biggest construction companies in the region, was his last chance. He had walked away from his village in Kitui with a single goal: to break the curse of poverty that had swallowed his family for generations. He had applied for hundreds of jobs before: cleaner, watchman, driver's assistant. None had worked out. His degree in civil engineering was now just a fading paper folded in a plastic bag at the bottom of his suitcase. When he got the call from Kifaru Holdings, he knew this was not the kind of chance you treat casually. The interview was scheduled for 8 a.m. Monday morning. But there was one problem: transport. The bus from his town only reached the city at midnight. He had no relatives there, no money for a lodge, and no friend's floor to sleep on. He stared at his little savings, one crumpled 500-shilling note. Not enough for both fare and food. That night, Mumo sat under the stars outside his mother's hut. She came out silently, her wrapper tied around her chest, eyes heavy with prayer and worry. "Mumo," she said, "if you go, go with courage. Even if the world laughs, don't laugh with them. Stand." He nodded, her words burning deep inside. Then he did something strange. He looked at his old mattress, patched and thin, and smiled. "Then I will carry my bed with me," he whispered. The next day, he walked to the bus stop with the mattress rolled under his arm like a sword of destiny. The passengers laughed. "Hey, my brother, are you moving to the city or getting married there?" one shouted. Mumo only smiled. "Neither," he said. "I am going to an interview." The laughter followed him into the night bus. At midnight, he reached the city. Cold wind cut through his thin shirt. The streets glowed with restless lights, but he found a small corner near the company gate, spread his mattress, and lay down. As he drifted into uneasy sleep, he whispered, "I will be early." When dawn came, the guards found him already awake, brushing his shoes with the edge of his sleeve. At 7:50 a.m., as the first interviewees began to arrive, Mumo stood tall, lifted the mattress onto his head, and walked confidently to the reception. The receptionist gasped. Sir, what's that?" "My mattress," he said calmly. "I came prepared." The other candidates burst into quiet laughter. Some took pictures, whispering behind their hands. The HR manager, a sharp woman named Madam Ruth, stepped out from her office when she heard the commotion. "Who brought a mattress here?" she asked, her voice firm. Mumo raised his hand. "I did, madam." She looked him up and down. "Are you serious about this interview?" "Very serious, madam." "I didn't want to be late. I arrived last night." Her eyes softened for a moment. "And you slept? Outside?" "Yes, madam. I didn't want to miss my opportunity because of transport." The room went silent. Madam Ruth said quietly, "All right, young man. You'll be the first one we interview." Inside the boardroom, the panel of 5 stared at Mumo's CV. One of them chuckled. "You graduated top of your class 5 years ago, but you've been unemployed since then?" "Yes, sir," he said firmly. "Not because I was unwilling, but because every door I knocked on was closed before I could explain myself." Another panelist leaned forward. "So why carry a mattress to an interview?" Mumo smiled faintly. "Because every man carries his preparation differently. Some bring laptops, others bring certificates. I brought the proof of my determination." There was a pause, heavy, full of meaning. The chairman of the panel, an elderly man with silver hair, cleared his throat. "Tell us, Mumo," he said softly. "If we gave you a chance, what would you build?" And that was when Mumo's eyes lit up. He spoke of bridges that could survive floods, of affordable rural housing using soil stabilization techniques, of how he wanted to design schools in forgotten villages where children learned under trees. His words carried the smell of earth, the rhythm of rain, the heartbeat of hope. When he finished, the room was silent again, not from disbelief this time, but from awe. After the last candidate left, the panel sat quietly. Finally, the chairman said, "That boy came with a mattress. But he carried something heavier. Vision." Madam Ruth nodded slowly. "He slept outside our gate for a chance to sit inside." If that is not dedication, what is? 3 days later, Mumo received a call. "Mr. Mumo," the voice said, "we are pleased to inform you that you have been selected for the position of junior site engineer." He dropped to his knees, tears of relief and joy mixing with laughter. When he walked back home to his village a month later, he didn't carry the mattress this time. But his mother had already heard the story. The whole town had. Children ran beside him shouting, "Engineer Mumo! Engineer Mumo!" His mother embraced him at the gate, eyes wet with pride. "My son," she whispered, "you slept on the ground to rise among giants." Years later, when Kifaru Holdings opened a new training program for young engineers, Mumo, now a project manager, stood before a crowd of new recruits. He told them the story, and as he finished, he looked each one in the eye and said, "Sometimes the world only opens its door when it sees how far you're willing to sleep outside it." And somewhere deep inside, the memory of that thin mattress, his symbol of sacrifice, still burned bright.